Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone, especially to my respected lecturer, Madam Nur AZIRA. My name is FARAH IZZATI binti Muhammad HASHIM from KBA 1193A. In this video, we would like to do a presentation about the types of Malaysia government expenditure and how government allocated their expenditure during spreading of COVID-19. Without further, let's start with the types of government expenditure. What is government expenditure? Government expenditure are including all government consumptions, investment and transfer payments. In national income accounting, the acquisition by governments of goods and services for current use to directly satisfy the individual or collective needs of the community is classed as government final consumption expenditure. Government acquisitions of goods and services intended to create future benefit, such as infrastructure investment or research spending. Government expenditures can be divided into two basic categories, namely as operating expenditure and development expenditure. First, operating expenditure. Operating expenditure refers to the expenditure of various government departments necessary to maintain their services. For example, it includes emoluments, which refers to the salaries for civil servants, service charges, debts, pension and gratuities, grants and transfers, asset acquisition, and supply and services. Second, development expenditure. What is development expenditure? It refers to an expenditure that related to projects that boost economic growth or strengthen the productive capacity of the economy. This expenditure is allocated to the security sector, such as armed forces, social services, such as education, health, and housing, and the economy sectors such as agriculture and rural development, public utilities, trade and industry, transport and infrastructural facilities. So, moving on to the next issue, which is how Malaysia allocated the expenditure during COVID-19. There are 5 expenditures that have been allocated by our beloved government that I'll be explained. To summarize this issue, during the outbreak of COVID-19, Malaysia has issued the first economic stimulus package to control this pandemic's impact. During February 2020, the government has issued the first stimulus package that worth 20 billion ringgit Malaysia that will be given out to the households and small firms in Malaysia. Second, our government also have assisted the cash flow of small and medium businesses (SMEs). The Bank Negara Malaysia will be provided 2 billion ringgit Malaysia worth of loans to the SMEs businesses. The fund will be distributed to the commercial bank at the interest rate of cap at 3.75% per annum. In addition, each SME will be eligible to receive up to 1 million ringgit Malaysia within 5.5 years. When the Malaysia government has furthered this alternative, it will benefit a lot in improving the cash flow of SMEs businesses. Next, tourism industry. Malaysia also has allocated its budget during COVID-19 for tourism industry by giving them discount vouchers. Malaysian government collaborate with airline companies, hotels, resorts, and others that will be offered discount vouchers up to 100 million ringgit Malaysia that have started during March 2020. In addition, Malaysia also provided extra funding for skill trainings as much as 100 billion ringgit Malaysia, especially for the small businesses that are affected due to this pandemic, in order to upgrade the skills of each workers. Furthermore, the financial aids for low-income household through Bantuan Prihatin. Our beloved country also do not forget about the low-income household, which is B40 group of people. Malaysia government also helped them by giving financial aid to ease their burden during this pandemic. All the low-income households will receive 200 ringgit Malaysia monthly start from March 2020, and they also will receive one-off payment 100 ringgit Malaysia. So, that's all from me. Next, let's continue with the other expenditure that have been allocated by Malaysia government during COVID-19.
Assalamualaikum and Hi. My name is AINAA SHAFIQAH binti SAPRI. I'm from KBA 113A. Okay, here I would like to explain how government allocated their expenditure during spreading of COVID-19 to the development expenditure. There are a few projects the government has allocated by implementing a small infrastructure project. First, the government issued second stimulus package to combat the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. This package valued at 250 billion ringgit enhanced the existing financing facilities issued in the first stimulus package. Objective of this package are to support businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprise, assist low and middle-income household, and provide fiscal injection to strengthen the national economy. Second, the government allocated 600 million ringgit to provide free internet during the lockdown period. For example, 1 gig per day, and 400 million ringgit to increase the network coverage and capacity to maintain telecommunication network availability and quality. Besides, the government also allocated 5.9 billion ringgit on job retention program, which is for wage subsidy program of 600 ringgit per month for 3 months to workers earning less than 4,000 ringgit to prevent them from being terminated during this COVID-19 pandemic. Next, government spending their expenditure to financial support for curbing the outbreak of COVID-19, which allocated 500 million ringgit to purchase of medical equipment such as ventilators and ICU equipment, personal protective equipment which is PPE, and lab equipment for COVID-19. Last example of how the government allocated their expenditure during spreading of COVID-19 to the development expenditure is giving the electricity bill discount. For this project, the government has allocated 530 million ringgit for domestic customer in Peninsular Malaysia, tie discount for electricity consumption beginning 1 April 2020 until 30 September 2020. So, customer can use the benefit discount provided by following term of the amount electric they use. The conclusion is government has allocated a lot of expenses during this COVID-19 to help people and the frontliners who are fighting for our country. So that's all from me for how the government allocated their expenditure during the spreading of COVID-19 to the development expenditure.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SYUHAIDAH binti NIZAM. I'm going to explain about the macroeconomic theory on the current issues. Firstly, government decided to increase the expenditure and reduce the debts because of the recession and unemployment rate. When government distribute the aid among citizens, it will help them to relieve their financial burdens. It will also increase the income and people will not be jobless. In my opinion, I think that government want to encourage the citizens by purchasing local goods and services to stabilize our economic back. Hence, the deflationary gap will decrease. Next, as the government expenditure increases, then the aggregate demand will also increases. As I said before, when the income increases, people will spend more money on the goods and services. And lastly, our government decided to use the expansionary fiscal policy to stimulate economic activities. A recessionary or deflationary gap occurs when the GDP is below its long-run level. When the GDP is lower than the long-run level, the aggregate demand will also decreases. In order to increase the aggregate demand, our government decided to inject a lot of money so that the aggregate demand will also increases and to close the gap. Government also reduces the tax because it will indirectly increase the aggregate demand curve by allowing citizens to have more money at hand to spend or to invest. It will create a multiplier effect because this in return will increase production and expansion in the economy. By using this expansionary fiscal policy, it will make the aggregate demand curve shift to the right. Hence, it will close the recessionary gap and promoting economic growth. In conclusion, I think that government take the right decision because this will likely improve our economic growth by 2021 and reduce the recession. Furthermore, standard living will be improved and gain many advantages. Government has distributed the pre-Hatin stimulus package equally regardless of status and forms during this pandemic. One of the many advantages include the students can have online classes without worrying about the internet because of the 1 gig free data every day. Other than that, small businesses gain their modal back and are financially supported by the government. It will help lower classes household to be financially stabilized back during this pandemic, and the frontliner also can benefit of receiving special monthly allowances, which is really great because they have been working endlessly during this pandemic. I also would like to thank the government for taking these actions because it really helps us. To end, I would like to say stay safe and stay at home. Thank you.